What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode number 48 here on season 2. And today we are getting into what is peer-to-peer lending or P2P lending. These videos are for educational purposes only and not meant to be taken as financial advice. You are responsible to protect your own assets and always make sure to do your own research. This question comes from Nick Rollo, like the Rollo candy, chocolate, caramel on the inside. Oh my gosh, that candy is like really ridiculously good. And he asks, can you do a video on investing in P2P lending? So P2P lending, like I said before, is basically peer-to-peer lending. And so it would be one person giving money or lending money to another person and thus getting paid interest on their original lending plus the principal. So the easiest way to go about doing like P2P lending would be through a third-party platform such as Lending Club, which would be basically Lending Club has about 50% of the market share on the actual P2P lending style of investing. So basically what happens is you lend someone some money and they're supposed to pay you back, like I said, with interest plus the principal. Thus, you get more return on your investment than just letting your cash sit there and dwindle because of inflation. Most of these types of investments should give you anywhere from about 6% all the way up until 18%. Basically, this is going to be variable based upon the risk level of the actual loan. Whether the person has good credit, whether they have a steady income, and all that kind of stuff gets factored into whether it'll be a grade A loan or a grade like D loan. However, my main issue with peer-to-peer lending is the fact that these loans are not going to be a secured kind of debt. They're going to be actually unsecured, which basically means that there's no collateral for that loan. And you're like, okay, cool. Like, what's collateral? Basically, when you go to a bank and you're like, hey, I want a car, I want to buy a car, I want a car loan. They're like, okay, great. We'll give you a loan for $30,000. You'll go buy a car for $30,000. Say you can't make the payments on that car. Hey, it's okay. We'll just go pick up the car as collateral and then we'll sell the car. Thus, maybe making our money back on the loan or not losing as much money. So thus, there's not as much risk with having collateral or having a secure debt or making a secure loan. With unsecured debt or no collateral, it's a little bit different. Basically, if the person decides, hey, I'm going to stop paying on this loan, you go at them and you're like, hey, you need to pay this loan, you need to pay this loan, you need to pay this loan. They're like, we're not going to pay it. You could potentially never get that money back because it's not secured. And so because it's unsecured, that money gone. Possibly. Obviously, Lending Club is going to do their best to make sure that you get paid. However, if the person just does not ever pay, then unfortunately that money could just be vanished from thin air, and they could have basically highway robbery took the money from you. That being said, the more risky the loan, so the better history that the person has of paying off loans and all that kind of stuff. Your credit is taken into consideration when you go to apply for one of these type of loans. So based upon that, you get basically a grade A, grade B, grade C, grade D, and I think you might get a grade F. The grade A's, typically the percent of return on that is going to be like a 6.5 to maybe like a 4 to 6% return, where like a grade D is going to be about 18 to 20% return. And the reason why the interest rate is variable is because to help like hedge against that risk. So if I gave a 4% loan, I would really expect that to come back and paid in full plus the interest, where a 18 to 20% risk level, which would be like what we see with like most credit cards, which is another form of unsecured debt, it comes back at like 18 to 20%. So overall, yeah, you might get more back, but the ability to then pay that loan back might be a lot less. It's one of those balances where you got to be like, okay, well, maybe I only should do grade A loans versus grade D loans. And Lending Club actually has a way to set that up to help you more or less pick loans that are going to give your portfolio the best rate of return. My personal opinion, though, I could see this as a great way to help expose yourself to a different type of investing. So maybe in the wake of a stock market correction or something like that, maybe P2P lending would help adjust and bring in some income. However, for me, when I look at it, I don't see much of a difference between doing peer-to-peer lending versus buying bonds in a company and reinvesting the dividends back into buying more bonds. I really don't see much of a difference, besides maybe you'll get a little bit higher percentage return with a more risky type of loan. But as far as bonds go, bonds are going to be pretty steady with pretty good growth, and then they're also going to pay you those monthly dividends, which you can then reinvest. So for me, it's not something that I'm going to be looking to invest in P2P lending. I think that if that's something you're looking for, then by all means try it out and feel free to let me know. But personally, for me, it doesn't fit into my overall plan with investing, and so I'm not going to give it a run or try it out at all. Let's go ahead and dive into the question of the day, which is, what movie can you watch over and over without getting tired of? Me, there's probably 2 movies. There's probably like Friday Night Lights, which, again, football movie. I talked about it in 3 movies that we love and appreciate. And then also Step Brothers or anything with Will Ferrell. I could probably watch Will Ferrell over and over on repeat. I think the guy's just hilarious, and what can I say? I just love him. So we'll leave right there. If you have any questions regarding Stash, Acorns, Robinhood, as well as general investing advice, business, Etsy coaching, post those questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe up here in this corner and check out my Stash recap, January edition. Check out this video right here. And as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.